Hey everybody, good afternoon and welcome to Trauma Talk in 10. Whether you are with me live or you are watching the replay, again, welcome. My name is Bonnie Barclay and I am a therapist in Knoxville, Tennessee and owner of Creekside Counseling and Wellness. Feel free to grab something to write with and take some time to jot down anything that resonates with you today. This is week 3 of my 3-week series, The 3 Key Barriers to Healing. And today we are going to be talking about coping to either avoid or eliminate feelings and this idea and how that can negatively impact your healing journey. Also, be sure to check out the different posts so that you can get more information as I break down different bits and pieces throughout the week. Yesterday, I posted about the window of tolerance. So if you haven't had a chance to read it, certainly pull it up while we're talking today or go back and check that out for some more information about a part that we'll be talking about today with that. So let's start exploring this. Coping strategies are really designed to help make feelings and the situations that evoke them more manageable. They are not designed, as much as we would like that to be true, to eliminate feelings or to make us not feel. For trauma survivors, this is really important. We've been talking about barriers to healing the last couple of weeks, and learning to feel in safe ways is critical in order to heal. So, emotional avoidance is a common reaction to trauma. In fact, emotional avoidance is part of the cluster of post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD symptoms, serving as a way for people with PTSD to escape painful or difficult emotions. Avoidance refers to any action designed to prevent the occurrence of an uncomfortable emotion such as fear, sadness, or shame. Avoidance may work in the short term, but it usually causes more problems later. So first we're going to look at the 3 components of an emotion and then briefly discuss the concept of the window of tolerance as a guide to feeling enough to heal and not too much to lead to overwhelm or shutdown. That is what coping strategies are designed for, to keep us within our window of tolerance so that we can learn, heal, connect, and grow. The cool thing is that when we keep doing this, our window will actually expand and it will then take more to overwhelm or shut us down. What this means is that we can then manage situations and more varied situations more effectively. And that's what we all want, really. So let's look at the 3 components of emotions. To truly understand emotions, it's important to understand 3 critical components. Each element plays its own role in the function and purpose of your emotional responses. So the first one is the subjective component. And what this asks is how you experience the emotion yourself. Physiological, how your body reacts to the emotion, and expressive, how you behave in response to the emotion. So emotions are really designed to be helpful. They can motivate you to act. They can help you avoid danger. They can help you make decisions. And that all sounds really good, right? Well, for survivors of trauma, emotions can be scary. That's where understanding the window of tolerance is also important. To begin understanding your feelings or emotions, you first need to be curious. Anyone that does or has done EMDR therapy with me probably can tell you that notice that, sit with it, or try to stay with it, and be curious about that are all repeated and important phrases during the healing process. Once you gently begin to approach these three elements with curiosity rather than fear, everything begins to shift. Start small, being aware of the current moment rather than unpacking the past. Consider printing out a feelings list that is readily available to you on the internet and challenge yourself to name and be curious about different feelings, how they show up for you using the three elements we just listed. Just begin to notice. When you want to avoid or disconnect from your feelings, being curious without judgment or trying to think or fix, just notice what's going on there. If this still feels like too much, that's okay. Help is available. Seeking help is the most courageous act there is. I have the privilege of witnessing this courage every single day. So let's talk about the window of tolerance, a concept from the work of Dr. Dan Siegel. And remember that this is a really big theory, and this is just a snapshot that I'm going to run down, hopefully to just pique your interest. Even if you're not an abuse survivor, the world is a stressful place. We all feel unsafe at times. The unexpected always happens, like the loss of a loved one, unemployment, or illness. For a lot of us, such events trigger old defenses and survival tactics, the ones we often have worked hard to overcome. So there's three important ways to think of safety when we talk about the window of tolerance and how we're showing up. Safety in your body, safety in your emotions and thoughts, and safety in your environment and relationships. In the face of trauma or the unexpected, we need tools to help us feel safe in all aspects of our lives. Learning to live within your window of tolerance is a vital first step for creating that sense of safety. When a person is within their window of tolerance, it is generally the case that the brain is functioning well and can effectively process what is going on. That person is likely to be able to reflect, think rationally, and make decisions calmly without feeling either overwhelmed or withdrawn. However, during times of extreme stress, people often experience periods of either hyperarousal or going below that window into hypoarousal. The thinking brain goes offline. If you did not catch that post again on Monday, please go back because I have a graphic that'll help you look at this a little bit more at these different arousal states of hyperarousal, window, and hypoarousal. So hyperarousal is that danger or alert zone, and the sympathetic nervous system is activated, otherwise known as fight, flight response. It's often characterized by hypervigilance, feelings of anxiety or panic, racing thoughts, and difficulty calming down. Underneath the other side of the window is hypoarousal, and that is more of that real primitive brain, that dorsal vagal system, or the freeze response. It may cause feelings of emotional numbness, emptiness, paralysis, or shutdown. And I mean paralysis by really the physical and emotional shutdown. Everyone's window of tolerance is different. Those who have a narrow window of tolerance may often feel as if their emotions are intense and difficult to manage. Maybe they're too sensitive. Others with a wider window of tolerance may be able to handle intense emotions or situations without feeling like they're out of control. They can handle those better, feel like they're able to function without being significantly impacted. The window of tolerance can also be affected by the environment. People are generally more able to remain in that window of tolerance when they feel safe and supported. Most people move between these varying states of arousal from time to time. Trauma and or extreme stress makes it more likely a person will become more involved in that fluctuation, either becoming hyper or hypo-aroused. The stress of a traumatic or otherwise negative event may have the effect of pushing a person out of their window of tolerance. People who have experienced a traumatic event may respond to stressors, even minor ones, with more extreme hyper or hypoarousal that sometimes doesn't seem to fit the situation because the past is becoming present. As a result of these experiences, they come to believe that the world is unsafe and may operate with a window of tolerance that has become more narrow and inflexible. So effective coping skills are designed to help people return to their window, as I mentioned earlier, and begin to widen or expand it. When you're in that window of tolerance, the body is in its optimal state of arousal, allowing the person to access both reason and emotion, staying mentally engaged. So, what are some of the ways to begin staying in and expanding this window of tolerance? Because that sounds great, doesn't it? To be able to have that flexibility and be both mentally and emotionally engaged. So, one of the main tools I talk about a lot, because it's always in our toolbox, is our breath. So, regular practice of slow, deep, calming breathing exercises to help calm and regulate the nervous system and mind are really important. Developing a mindfulness practice. Developing and knowing how to engage in grounding techniques. And those are strategies to bring us into the present moment, especially when the past is trying to intrude on the present. Self-soothing and emotion regulation skills. Good self-care and self-compassion. In other words, being kind and gentle and loving with yourself. Many people find it a lot easier to be nicer to other people than to themselves. So give yourself a chance to begin to practice that and be patient with yourself, because it's easier said than done. So again, what's the hard truth for today? This is easier said than done. The past can quickly become present without us even knowing it. So if you're struggling with this, you do not have to suffer alone. Again, seeking help is brave and can be life-changing. We are trained to make this process more manageable and possible for you. So please reach out if you are struggling, and we can help you with these important skills. Thank you so much, everyone, for checking in and hanging in here with me over 3 weeks for these 3 key barriers. It's Memorial Day coming up, so I'm not going to have anything next week, but I will jump back on after that. I have a new service that I'm going to be offering here at Creekside that I want to share with you that goes along with this work of Dan Siegel and Stephen Porges and his polyvagal theory. So I'm excited to be sharing that with you soon. Have a great day and the rest of your week. Talk to you soon. Bye.